Junior school football, 10-year-olds, playground yard, jumpers for goalposts, all of that. Yes, here's a story from the days of junior school in the summer, playing on the bottom yard. All the lads are there, big schoolyard. It's got all the markings out for tennis courts and rounders and stuff. It's that big. And we're on at lunchtime and jumpers for goalpost job. I think, but this time we're using the fence, huge wooden fence, and you're going between the uprights. But at the other end, I've got the jumpers. Beyond the fence is a large embankment that goes down by a number of meters from the level of the playing ground down to the playing fields. Let's try and guess how many meters. Stares at the wall. Don't know. Let's go for 10. No. Somewhere between 6 to 8 meter drop. Good steep embankment. Okay. At the bottom of the embankment is a whole row of trees. The kind with the upward curved branches. There's a whole load of them as acting as a windbreak across the yard. And they're not in full leaf at the minute, so not much of a fucking windbreak anyway. So whilst we're playing football, the inevitable happens. Somebody does a big arcing shot and it gets lodged in the sodding tree. The branches like that. Next thing the tree knows, it's getting bombarded with anything we can get our hands on, little bits of stones, sticks, anything we can haul out of the school gardens, displays it next to the playground. And nothing's working. Right, there's a few lads gone, jumped the fence, and they're already at the base of the tree, and one of them's starting giving it Donkey Kong, shuffling up the tree. Donkey Kong Jr. up the tree to go and get this ball. And he's almost there. He's almost within arm's reach of this ball that's wedged next to the trunk of the branch. And from where I'm stood, and I'm back from the fence, and we're watching this lad, Jason, chibby up the tree. When out of nowhere from behind us comes something approximating half a brick in size. And it's the best shot ever. And it hits the ball and knocks it clean out the tree. But with regards to the brick, it doesn't carry on or bounce off. It just hit the ball and gravity took over. It just so happened Jason was in the way at the time. It was a freak accident. Almost had the ball. The guy who launched the brick didn't know where the lad was. He just looking at the ball from up a height. Couldn't see below the fence that there's a guy climbing the tree. Hits the ball. Yes! It's if 1,000 points had just lit up above the ball and you've got the top score. Spinning. Da, 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 da. No, the brick drops and lands on Jason's head, probably cornered his head, right on the crown. Bounces off. And you see this poor kid hanging on to the tree, now going fucking white and shaky and clawing his way down the foot until he falls a few meters back down to the ground. The blood's pissing out of his head. He stood up like something from a horror show, horror movie. Blood everywhere, and there's staff on there. They've seen what happened. They heard the screams. He's screaming like a girl. And everyone's rushing to help him. And they get him up and away to hospital. And comes back the following day. He's got a bunch of stitches in his head. And that was the event. He got whacked by a brick in a freak accident. Now, let's spin on a number of decades. I was around 10 years old. I'm 55 now. And let's just say, for sake of argument, around 5 years ago-ish. So we'll put that at a 40-year gap-ish. I was in a friend's house up here where I lived at Sacriston. And he had some friends round and got introduced. And it turned out one of the lads went to the same junior school as me. But he was in the other class. Same year, but in the other classrooms. And whilst we were talking, we suddenly became animated because we'd been at the same junior school, same year, and it was, hey, it's you again, it's you. And then we recalled the story that I've just told you about the brick and the kid. And he told me the story. Do you remember about that kid and the brick? Yeah, and I'm pissing myself laughing. And we went through the story just like there. We were tears of laughter. And he comes to the end of the story. He says, you know what? I says, no. He says, I was the one who threw the brick. And that was it. The entire room that we were in, we were just collapsed laughing. We could not fucking move for laughing. We needed a fucking respirator for oxygen and stuff. The whole room, we were just... He admitted he was the one who launched the brick, and the tears off my fucking eyes. And I'm shaking his hand. Fucking legend. I've never forgot that story either, and I finally get to meet the man who threw the brick. I'm yet to meet the guy who got the brick. I don't know what happened to him. I presume he's still around. Hey, God. Golden memory, that one. You could see that through my eyes again. I can see the brick sailing through the air and hitting the ball, and everyone's like, yes! Kunk! You know, and everyone's like, oh shit! You know, casualty! Davey Anderson, I was the one who threw the brick.